Welcome to the structure analysis class. In this class, we will discuss another failure theory, that is maximum principal strain theory. So if you recall, last class we have discussed the maximum principal stress theory. So let's get started. So this theory is also called Saint-Venant's theory. So first time he has proposed this theory. So what this theory states, the failure of the material actually will occur when the maximum principal strain reaches to the strain due to the yield stress in a simple tension, or when the minimum principal strain reaches to the strain due to the yield stress in a simple compression. So it's a very simple theory of failure. It states that when the maximum principal strain reaches, when you perform the tensile experiment or tensile test on a material, then material will fail. Or for the compression test, the strain yield stress, when it reaches to the minimum principal strain, so in that time your material will fail. So there, let's elaborate this principle more detail. So this diagram, if you recall, last class we have discussed this maximum principal stress theory. So this plane is basically, we call it yield surface. What is yield surface? So here you can see two axes is there. One is sigma x, sigma 1 and sigma 2. Two principal axes is shown. And if you recall, we discussed principal stress theory, in that when the stress in a particular stress in a material, when it is less than the strength of the material, then our material is safe. For example, there are some certain materials, for a certain material, this is a failure surface. Failure surface means, maybe consider, you are testing a steel. So you are applying a tension force in a steel. So if you are using Fe415 grade of steel, for example, then that grade of steel can take maximum 415 Newton per mm square stress. So here, so for in that, in Fe415 case, your surface will be up to this. So this point will be 415. So it is 0, so gradually increasing up to 415 is this surface. So now you draw a box when you come to 415. So as long as your stress is inside the box, anywhere, maybe in any location, so this may be your tension axis, maybe this side is compression axis, as long as your stress is inside this box, your material won't fail. So when the stress is going outside this box, then our material fails. So that theories we discussed in the last class, that is principal stress theory. So today we'll discuss this part. This is the principal strain theory. So here we will do everything with respect to strain. So let's derive the equation first for the maximum principal strain theory. That is Saint-Venant's theory. So Saint-Venant has first proposed this method, this failure theory. So what it says in the theory? So principal strain in the direction of a principal stress sigma 1. So what will be the principal strain in the direction of any direction? So just let's assume you have a 2D plane, right? 2D plane means you have now sigma 1 and maybe sigma 3. So these two principal stress is acting on a particular body. So now, what will be the strain then? So sigma 1 is the stress, principal stress in sigma. So just I'll draw the axis as well. Maybe this is two axes. So this is maybe your x1 axis and this is x3 axis, right? So now, so in this x-axis you have the maximum principal stress sigma 1, whereas x3 axis you have maximum principal stress sigma 3. So that's what I mentioned, sigma 1 and sigma 3. Now what will be the strain in the x1 axis? So similarly, strain we call it epsilon 1, and this axis strain will be epsilon 2, right? So you have sigma 3 and sorry epsilon 3 and sigma 1 epsilon 1. So this is principal stress in sigma 1 direction, x1 direction. Similarly, this is epsilon 1 strain in the x1 direction. So now what is epsilon? So we already in the last class we have discussed few equations. Let's draw it first. So what is stress, or maybe I'll just call it, what is modulus of elasticity E? E is what? Stress by strain, right? These are the few derivations we derived in the earlier classes. So one derivation we derived is modulus of elasticity E is equal to stress by strain. And another derivation we derived, what is Poisson's ratio? Mu. So mu is equal to, we call it lateral strain by longitudinal strain. So that we call it, so lateral strain. So epsilon in lateral direction, whereas let whereas epsilon in longitudinal direction, right? So that we call it sigma. So these two equation will be used in this derivation extensively. One is E is stress by strain, whereas Poisson's ratio mu is lateral strain by longitudinal strain. This is epsilon, okay, epsilon, not E actually, it is epsilon. So anyway, so principal strain in the sigma 1 direction. So in the sigma 1 direction, principal strain is what? Epsilon 1. So epsilon 1 can be written as, so this is a strain, right? So from this equation, E equal to sigma by from this equation, what we can write? What is the strain now? So strain will be stress by E, right? Sigma by E we can write. So that's what. So in the sigma 1 direction, you have sigma 1. So in the sigma 1 direction, you have stress is sigma 1, whereas by E, modulus of elasticity. So you can write strain is equal to stress by modulus of elasticity. From this equation, we can derive this, simple, right? So now this is actually three axes, right? In general, any body will have three axes: x1 axis, x2 axis, and x3 axis, three perpendicular axes. Similarly, you have three strains also: sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, in the three direction, three principal strain. Similarly, three principal stress as well. uh, so stress is sigma and strain is epsilon. So sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 is the principal stress in three direction. Similarly, epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon 3 is the principal strain in the three direction. So sigma 1, so now we are writing now epsilon 1 equal to sigma 1. So in first direction, sigma 1 by E, minus, for the other direction it will be negative. Now you can tell why it is negative, because just we'll draw a simple experiment, then you can understand. So for example, this is a bar, steel bar, and you are applying a load P in both the directions. So you are applying load P. Now what will happen? So once you apply the load, your length of the bar will increase, right? Because that the material is elastic material, so length of the material will increase now. So you are applying now P2, right? More force you are gradually you are applying. So see, your length has increased. This length has increased. So that's why the here the strain is positive in this direction, in this axis, in x-axis this direction. If this is x-axis, and if this is maybe this is x1 axis and this is vertical axis x2 axis. So in the x-axis you have the positive strain, right? It is increased. What about the x2 axis? So in this axis what will happen? So here maybe if this width is, if it is 5 centimeter, here it will be reduced, right? Because length is increased, so diagonally or maybe longitudinally, sidewise it will be reduced. Now it may be 4, right? So in this direction always it will be reduced. So in, if you consider x1 strain, so x1 strain it will be positive obviously, whereas x2 direction strain will be negative because of sigma 1. So that's why here if it is mentioned, so this is positive, whereas this one is negative, because sigma 2 direction you have the strain is actually reduced. Earlier maybe if this is 5, then this is 4 now, width reduced, whereas length has increased. So the symbol here is negative strain in the other two directions. So in the, if epsilon 1 is the what, epsilon 1 is stress strain in the x1 direction, right? Similarly, strain can be replaced by stress by E, modulus of elasticity, right? So this is positive in the x1 direction, whereas x2 and x3 direction you have the negative. Now why mu came? So mu came because mu is what? Because whatever that strain in that direction, that will be lateral strain. We have to convert into longitudinal strain. So that's why, how do you convert lateral strain into longitudinal strain? You just divide it by mu. Mu means Poisson's ratio. From this equation we get it. So for the sigma 1 direction, I am talking now this horizontal direction, maybe x1 case, x1 axis. So in the x1 axis, one is positive, whereas the other two is negative. Already you have understood. And now mu is multiplied because in other two directions that are the lateral strain. So you have to convert lateral strain into longitudinal strain. Epsilon 1 is what? Strain in the x1 direction. So, but these strains are actually in that direction, so you have to convert into longitudinal strain multiplied with mu. Mu is a Poisson's ratio. So if you just simplify, if you just take common 1 by e, you will get this is the final figure. Similarly, for epsilon 2 also you can write, and epsilon 3 also you can write. So here epsilon 3 is written. Epsilon 3 will be just instead of sigma 1, it will be now epsilon 3, and just everything is changed a little bit. Now you can derive. So in the sigma 3 direction, sorry, epsilon 3 direction, sigma 3 by e will be positive and remaining two terms will be negative. So that is the epsilon 3 direction. You have the strain. So now strain due to the yield stress in a simple tension will be how much? So strain due to yield stress in a simple tension. So now we are just conducting a simple test exam, right? This is the tension we are applying in this bar. So when this bar will fail, so when the stress in this bar reaches to its yield strength. So for example, Fe415, for example, this bar is consist of Fe415 grade of steel, right? So Fe415 grade of steel means the yield strength. So yield strength will be 415 Newton per mm square. So that is the yield strength of this bar. So when the strain or when the stress, actually when the stress crosses to this value 415 in this case, then the material will be failed. So now what will be the failing? So yield stress is 415. Then what will be the yield strain? Yield strain will be if you just simply multiply divided by epsilon because divided by modulus of elasticity, right? So this is the equation we have applied. So this is the equation we used. So strain will be what? Stress by modulus of elasticity. So yield strain will be 415 by E. E is the modulus of elasticity of the strain. So same thing is written here also. So the due to the yield stress in a simple tension example, so in a simple tension, so stress in a tension by E. So that much will be the yield strain. So when the material reaches to that much strain, your material simply fail. So in the three direction, we have computed what is the strain. So sigma 1 direction, this is the strain. Sigma 3 direction, this is the strain. And that is applied strain. And when the strain crosses this value, then we call it material has failed, right? So our failure criteria will be when the sigma is epsilon 1. Epsilon 1 is what? This one. Strain in x1 direction. So when the epsilon 1 is more than this strain, the yield strain, that sigma t by e, then we call it our material has failed. So until and unless epsilon 1 less than this value, our material is fine. There is no failure in the material. So once it crosses, then only our material has failed. Similarly for E3 direction also same thing will happen. So now if you substitute E1's value here, so E1 already we derived, this is the E1 expression, right? If you substitute epsilon 1's value here, similarly epsilon 3's value, this epsilon 3's value here, you will get it. So these equations. Now if you just simplify it, you will get this final version. So this is the one final version and this is the final version. So now as I mentioned in the last slide also, I mean last lecture also, so although the strength, so Fe415 grade of steel has the yield strength 415, right? But when we design our structure, we are not considering even that Fe415 strength is 415, because to become more safe, we consider the strength of this bar is not 415, it is maybe half, maybe 200, right? Although actually the strength is 415, it won't fail before 415, but for our design purpose, to become more safe, to become in the safer side, we assume that when the stress reaches 200, for example, our material will fail. So this one is basically the permissible stress, we call it. So 415 is the original stress, that is the actual yield stress, we call it. But for our design purpose, we may not take 415, we may take 200. So to become more safer side. So this 200 actually we call it permissible stress. So in this sigma t is actually yield stress, right? This sigma t is yield stress. But in our design consideration, we normally use sigma t. See, this is sigma t star. So sigma t star by that safety factor will give you sigma t. So here in this case maybe 415 by 2. If you use safety factor 2, then sigma t is maybe 200. Similarly, this is for tension and this is for compression. So now hence our design purpose, these two equations will be just you replace sigma t that sigma t by this sigma t will be sigma t by sigma t star will be sigma t into safety factor. Just multiply it and you will get this is a final expression for our derivation. So I hope you understood this failure theory. So now let's solve a quick example, then it will be more clear to you. So what is the question? Question is the principal stress at a point in an elastic material is given. So principal stress is given 200 Newton in one direction, that is tensile, 100 Newton per mm square, that is also tensile, and 50 Newton per mm square compression. So you have three directions, right? X1, X2, X3 direction. So you have sigma 1 value is given to you is 200 basically, and the sigma 2 also given, that is also tension, it is 50, and you have given, and sigma 3 value also given in the question, which is compression. So it is minus how much it will be, minus 50, right? So sigma 2 is 100, right? 100, this is not 50, it is 100. So anyway, so this three value is given to you in the question. Now what is the question? If the stress at the elastic limit is in a simple tension is 200 Newton per mm square, so the material strength is given to you. Material strength means sigma t, right? Sigma t star. That material strength is given to you 200. And Poisson's ratio is also given, right? Poisson's ratio is 0.3. Mu also given to you. So mu value is 0.3. It is given. So now question is determine whether the failure of the material will occur according to the maximum principal strain theory. So just imagine you have a body where in the three direction you have maybe sigma 1 direction, sigma 2 direction. So I can draw two directions only, but third direction also will be there. So sigma 1 is given to you 200, sigma 2 is also given, and sigma 3 is also minus 50. So sigma 3 I did not draw because it is sigma 2, because it is three dimension, so 3 value is given. So now you are asked, and this material's capacity is given to you. This material can take maximum 200 Newton per mm square. So now the question is, this material will fail or not after application of this load. Sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 is given to you. So after application of this stress, whether our material, any failure will happen inside the material. So that we have to find it out using the maximum principal strain theory, Saint-Venance theory. Just now we have derived the equation also. So all the values are given, sigma t value also given, similarly Poisson's ratio value also given. So out of these three principal stresses, maximum principal stress is which one? So out of sigma 1 is given 200, sigma 2 is 100, whereas sigma 3 is minus 50. So which one is highest? Highest is sigma 1, right? So if failure occurs, it will occur in the sigma 1 direction, not in the other two direction, because this is highest, right? Out of these three, 200 is the highest. So hence the maximum principal strain will be in the direction of sigma 1. Right? So what will be the strain? So this equation we have derived in the last slide. So just we plugged in the value. So sigma 1 value is given 200, and mu's value is given 0.3. Similarly, sigma 2 and sigma 3's value also given 150. So from this equation we computed this is the strain in the sigma epsilon 1 direction. Strain in the epsilon 1 direction. Now let's find it out what is the permissible yield strain of the material. So sigma t, last slide we have derived this equation as well. So this will be yield stress by E. So 200 by E, right? So your material can take up to 200 by E strain, whereas how much load, how much strain is applied in the material, it is 185 by E. So you have already, you saw that your material is more strength. Your material has strain is 200 by E. So up to 200 by E, up to this range, up to 200 by E, material won't fail. Whereas how much is applied? Applied is 185 by E. So obviously this is less. So applied strain, applied force or applied stress is less compared to its the capacity strength. So hence the failure will not occur in the material. Okay, so like that, actually using maximum principal strain theory, how exactly you can predict whether the material will fail or not. So in the next lecture we will discuss one more failure theory. Thank you.